Hello. This is so exciting. Thank you, Brand Innovators. This has been an incredible week, and the dinner last night was so wonderful. I'm really excited. This is going to be a great panel. I've already got to learn a lot about these panelists, and I know you guys are going to learn a ton too. So I'm very excited to introduce them. Right here I have Sanya. She's the Senior Manager, Brand Marketing of ŌURA. Both Sanya and Vic are sporting their ŌURA rings right now. ŌURA is the ring that you wear. It can monitor your sleep, your body temperature, breathing, heart rate, and more. And last night, she even told me one of her friends found out she was pregnant through the ŌURA app, which resonated with me because I'm also pregnant. Thank you. I also have Lauren up here. She's the Manager of Retail Marketing for Harman International. She has an extensive background, over 15 years of marketing experience with lots of different brands from Auto, Ford, Lincoln, Ralph Lauren, Fossil, Disney, Pizza Hut, JBL, and more. You can also, fun fact I found out last night, basically find Lauren sitting with Beyonce at the Grammys coming up, so ask her about that after. And I'm really excited to dive in on her social media expertise today. We also have Vic, General Manager of Keeps from 30 Madison. Vic is super passionate about solutions to help people stay fit and healthy, and our companies, we found out, even partnered together for another one of 30 Madison's brands, Picnic. I love this quote that I found on 30 Madison's site. They keep empathy at the heart of innovation, because if we all lead with more empathy, I really think the world would be a better place. So excited to get all of their insights today. I'll start with Sanya. ŌURA's really especially taken off in the past couple years. And in what ways do you think ŌURA and other D2C brands will need to continue to adapt to meet the evolving needs and expectations of consumers in the future?
Yeah, I'm excited to take that one. I think it's so interesting. When I first joined ŌURA 2 years ago, I felt like it was a very different landscape. We had, less than 3% awareness in the U.S. And in just 2 years, I've seen our awareness rocket. We're attracting a lot of really interesting brands. I'll talk about the Gucci collab a little bit, because I know that that's generated a lot of really interesting conversation for us on the cultural front. But I think what's interesting in how we are operating, and what I'm just sort of seeing as an observer, is, and this feels very obvious, but just the obsession with your consumer. I think for us, recently we launched a partnership with Natural Cycles, which was one of our most successful product integrations to date. Natural Cycles is a period prediction and ovulation app, and the consumer experience was really broken because you had to wake up every morning and physically take your temperature and add that into the app. But with our partnership, ŌURA data now syncs directly into the app. So, women all over the world that are using Natural Cycles, they wake up, they sync their ring to their Natural Cycles app, and they have all their insights ready to go. And that did so well for us because it was so simple, but we just solved a very annoying pain point for the consumer. So I think just being really, really close to our members, we call our consumers members, so being close to insights that we're getting from them, whether it's how to elevate their experience in sleep, whether it's activity, whether it's even features outside of those two realms, has been a big way how ŌURA is at least changing the game. And I think additionally, like flexibility, and I know you talked about empathy a little bit with 30 Madison's mission, but empathy and flexibility has also been very big for us. The Gucci collab is a great example there, where it felt odd that why is a health company partnering with this, very culture forward fashion brand? Like, how does this make sense? But I think being flexible in terms of inviting yourself into really interesting opportunities to show up with consumers where they least expect a health brand to be, I think has been a great way for us to stay relevant and gain awareness, and also gain a number of new consumers who wouldn't have found us, through our natural sort of media plans and marketing plans.
Perfect. Open it up to Lauren and Vic. Anything else you want to add there? All right, we're great.
Keep going.
Let's keep it rolling. Question for Lauren. We heard yesterday from Ashley, the VP of Marketing at American Eagle, that influencer marketing continues to be a larger and larger part of her budget. So how do you see the role of social media and influencer marketing evolving in this space?
Thanks, Jordan. So personally, I've been very involved and passionate within the influencer and social space, have had over 10 years directly within that space on the brand side for direct to consumer. And fortunately with Harman, I support our lifestyle brand, so JBL more specifically, and you might know us from our headphones or our portable speakers. And so a really unique way that we're looking to capture our consumers' attention is showcasing our products and the value add that they have to everyday life. And a big part of that is influencer partnerships and working with them. So normally social, has been known as a way for individuals and consumers to consume content. However, we're seeing also there's ways that consumers are actually going to social and shopping directly within those platforms. And so we've really seen through our influencer partnerships that the influencers are a driving force of that social commerce. So it's a big, significant opportunity for us. Not only are we partnering with our key brand ambassadors, but then also some niche content creators, influencers in that space who might not be, have the million followers. They might have 100,000 followers on any of their platforms. And they've actually crafted some really unique content, but then also have drawn in a really great overall audience and community that they've established. And so we've been partnering with them because they have kind of built this community, and they share the latest and greatest of all of our products and say why you should buy them. But I think the biggest piece that they bring to the table is credibility. We partner with people who just make the most sense for us. And we've been able to establish a really great connection and relationship directly with those influencers. And then that has then gone onto their platform. You can definitely tell from our relationships with them how well we're able to activate with them. We've hosted them. We're going to be hosting several influencers at the Grammys coming up. So hoping we can see Beyonce and some other key talent. But we'll definitely be dancing in the aisles. So a really exciting opportunity to come.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. And for Vic, when you're thinking about Keeps consumers and other D2C healthcare-focused brands, I know you've had a heavy focus there in your career. How do you anticipate personalization impacting that experience?
So just really quickly, I realize not everyone might know 30 Madison or even Keeps, but 30 Madison is a virtual specialty care company for chronic health conditions. We span low acuity to high acuity. Keeps is our men's hair loss brand, which sits on the low acuity side of things. That said, in terms of how personalization really affects what we do, well, over the last decade or so, there's been a real push towards personalization and consumerization of healthcare, driven by companies like Fitbit and ŌURA, which really puts data and an understanding of consumers' health in their own hands. And just like ŌURA may call their consumers members, we actually call our consumers patients. So we are patient first, and we also realize that our patients who are now coming to shop for healthcare with us have a much better understanding. And so for us, that means we have to work that much harder at delivering value and understanding their pain points. It's challenging, but it's also what makes it really exciting. On the flip side, segmentation and personalization enables us to deliver the right treatments to the right patients at the right time. Healthcare and health is not one size fits all, and whether a patient is on site or experiencing our CRM, we really need to deliver really personalized and tailored experiences to make everyone feel included.
Awesome. Thank you. Question for everyone. So whoever wants to jump in first, just thinking about this past year, what's something that you've really learned that you're going to take forward as we look to 2023?
Yeah, I can answer that. So we just came off a really exciting launch this past Q4 holiday season. So we really partnered a lot internally, and I think that has been a true testament to not only collaborate cross-functionally, but then to bring campaigns to life, but then also, it built upon just a wider net that we didn't believe that we could ever cast. So it was really great. So we happened to have Doja Cat as one of our key music ambassadors, and as everyone knows, she's phenomenal and has been having some really great several years with all of her music that she's released. And a fortunate thing for us, we were able to coordinate the launch of our new personalization tool on our website with the launch and holiday. So not only did we have some moments where we had some key shopping opportunities, so we coin it as Shop Doja Cat's Faves. So we were able to put that on all of our customer retail channels. So for that omni-channel approach, who might not have that personalization piece, but then on our owned.com, on jbl.com, we were able to have the personalization piece. So she actually did an Instagram live and was able to capture quite a few individuals. We had actually more traffic than we did the day that she went live on Instagram than we did combined with Cyber Monday and Black Friday, just on our own personal site. So phenomenal for us to build that connection with not only her fans and our followers as well, but just to really drive that conversation. So I think for us, our key learning going into this year is how can we better collaborate internally to bring to life some really key opportunities.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, so one of the key learnings that I think we've had at Keeps is the company's been around the brand has been around for about 5 years now. We are the leader in direct consumer for men's hair loss. But, we are thinking about how do we expand, how do we grow. There are other people who do men's hair loss and they sell erectile dysfunction pills. We could go that direction. We have hundreds of thousands of guys we could sell these pills to. Instead, we've actually doubled down on hair loss. We've launched the first brick and mortar clinic from a DTC brand in New York. It's called Keeps Hair Restoration Clinic. We have people flying in from all over the country for treatment, which is amazing. We thought we'd have to launch these all over the country, and we haven't had to. And I think that's just a testament to really doubling down on our core strength in our area of focus rather than expanding to other areas.
I love it.
Yeah, I think, for me, sort of going back to the flexibility theme, I think being open to co-create your brand with other, like-minded brands and thinkers, I think was a big observation. Last year in October, we launched a really cool partnership with Therabody. It was the first time you could touch and feel an Ura ring in person. A lot of our product experience is online today, where you go online, you learn more about the ring, you get a sizing kit, you try it for a different size, and then once you input your size, you get your official ring. And in a lot of that experience, people get lost in the sizing part of it. So when we launched in Therabody stores, it was a great experience because we found a lot of Therabody users. If you're not familiar with Therabody, it's the sort of recovery massage gun. Found that they have high propensity to use sleep wearables. So we wanted to be the first ones in that space, and we really doubled down on recovery. So we created an in-app experience. We really onboarded Therabody users into how they can improve their sleep hygiene. We created these experiences in store. So we really formed alliances with like-minded thinkers in the category and brands. So knowing that sleep is the calling card for Ura, it suddenly changed how a lot of our consumers and members thought about us, and people who wouldn't necessarily find us now knew about us through Therabody. So we created sort of new pathways for discovery. So that's been, I think, a big focus for us looking into the next few years. How can we create more discovery? How can we create more avenues to bring in new consumers outside of the traditional media plan and in earned media? And partnerships has been certainly a big way to do that.
I love that. And that piggybacks perfect off of my next question is, what are some of those most innovative marketing executions? I know everyone wants to hear, and we have your Gucci box about that partnership. So you want to kick off with that?
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic partnership. Obviously, unexpected for a health brand to show up with a high fashion brand talking about self-expression, talking about the journey to self-discovery. That was the whole tagline. And if you look at the sort of hero film on YouTube, you'll find it very unexpected. It's very, very different from a way a health brand would communicate with you, and is certainly very different than Ura's regular sort of advertising / films. So there is an element of unexpectedness there. I think why it worked is we suddenly became, I think, aspirational. I think, and it's a delicate tension there, because health is not a luxury for sure, and that's not how we like to talk about health. But in the luxury space, being able to show that now it's not only how you express yourself on the outside, which Gucci's all about, and being expressive, but it's also about turning that lens inside and caring about your health and putting that to the forefront. So that magic around self-expression on the inside and having control over how you feel and your data felt like a completely different avenue for a health brand to be in. So I think, and from a form factor standpoint, we did an amazing job. And we created this sort of custom ring. It was based on the Gucci icon silhouette, but we embedded ŌURA tech inside of the ring. And so it became this custom product that we were able to elevate through scarcity play as well. So it suddenly became this thing that you couldn't have but really wanted. And as a result, we drove a lot of conversions for regular ŌURA rings, because people that hadn't heard about ŌURA were like, wow, cool, what's this brand partnering with Gucci? The product seems really interesting. I'm just going to go buy one. So in addition to driving, I think, awareness, we were able to drive a lot of conversions as well, which was very successful.
Yeah, and when I was researching more about it, I saw a great quote, because it really is prioritizing your health with luxury. They said, it's the pinnacle of retail therapy, which I thought was perfect.
And it's beautiful too, so.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on innovative marketing executions that you guys have done or thinking about that you can share?
I can kind of add some to it. So you talked about brand partnerships. So not only with brand, we actually have been do a lot more with our retail customer partners. So a big partner of ours and customer where we sell our products is Amazon. And a key opportunity we saw this year, we were able to join their beta testing. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with Amazon Live. So it's a kind of an online shopping experience where you can go directly, have the live stream hosted on Amazon, and customers can come in and shop directly right within the platform. So you see all the key products the individual are kind of actually serving up at that time, and then they talk about the key, product values overall. And so this past year, they've been pulling in their content creators and influencers within that world. And so we were really leveraging that. So we found a significant amount of not only impressions that we were finding from, but then also, people who continued throughout actually watching the whole live stream and then going and actually converting and purchasing. So was a really successful. We've been partnering with Amazon probably at least almost every month, if not, on a lot of key opportunities within the retail space. But we definitely look forward to partnering with our customers. I know Walmart has some new content creator platforms that they're just now launching, and that is also a customer and partner of ours. So I think that's another way that we definitely see some innovation within the retail space.
Yeah, so one of the things that we found very successful and surprising, again, relating to our hair restoration clinic, was we tested out working with an influencer. We didn't expect, his followers to fly in from outside the New York City area, and that, we really attribute all these people traveling to the influencers. So not something we expected at all. And then just in terms of our core business, one thing that we know is that for a lot of guys, this is the first time they're self-selecting into healthcare. It's not their parents or their significant other prompting them to go get checked for something. So on the one hand, that's great. We can be the entryway for broader healthcare for men. On the other hand, what we have seen through a lot of our user research is we have a slightly older demographic who are married, who are coming to us because their spouses want them to. So to us, in the future, that could be an area that we could be targeting as well, something just that we're thinking about.
Perfect. Next question. One of the panelists yesterday mentioned that they learned the most from their failures, and I just thought that was really powerful. Is there any failure that you guys are open to sharing and how you pivoted to turn it into a learning? I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, not all of the one.
I mean, I think it's something that's very important for any business. is having appropriate assumptions and expectations. You know, we've really crushed it with our core business. That set a new benchmark for anything new we've launched. And I think a key learning is that, you know, sometimes you have to have different benchmarks for different products and service lines. And that's something that we are constantly learning on a daily basis.
I think for us, it's a lot of test and learn, and as I've kind of mentioned, this last year it's been all about learnings and gaining from those. So kind of doubling down on what is actually working for us, so we can kind of set that as a focus rather than just being everywhere. As you know, that's kind of how it used to be within the marketing space. You know, you were in all of these different avenues and everything. So I think it's just going back to what has been working well for you and your company, and how can you really focus in on that clearly.
Yeah, I think experimentation as well has worked for us, you know, piloting certain types of approaches, testing, and I think also being very open to pivot. So if something doesn't feel right or it doesn't feel like it's sticking, being open to change your approach on that, and to really sort of go back to the calling card. In our case, it's sleep. That's sort of the bedrock of wellness, and it's a foundational core aspect of our product experience. And you know, no amount of branding can add that veneer, because you're fundamentally, your product experience needs to be very, very strong. So I think going back to that for us has been, you know, a great way to change and pivot in areas that, you know, maybe we haven't seen as much success. So yeah.
And maybe sleep on it. When you wake up, you might have the... Okay, I'll do, this is my last question, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. What do you see, since, you know, the title of our panel, what do you guys see for the future of marketing for your brands and other D2C brands that are listening, and what's going to be done to continue to push these boundaries as we look to this year?
I want to go with new shoppable experiences. I think that's what customers are yearning for. I mean, we just had Walmart Plus up here, just a really great opportunity for individuals who are busy in their daily lives to be able to go on the app and be able to shop directly. I know personally myself, I've utilized those type of platforms, and it's just been a lifesaver. So how are we kind of changing that and providing the customer a value add within their customer journey? And I am an avid online shopper myself, and I can scroll forever. And it's how are you actually, you know, customizing that shopping opportunity per customer, so that way they have a unique experience, and then that way they can kind of get in, click what they want, and get out. And I think another piece of what I've been really mentioning is there's ways that you can partner with key influencers to kind of get away from all the clutter and the noise, and showcase what the key opportunity and products that you want to focus in on. They can kind of be your curation of holiday must-haves, or, you know, New Year, New You. How are you going and checking out the latest headphones along with your workout schedule and different pieces. So I think that's a big opportunity going forward, is the shopping experiencing it, make it more customizable to the individual shopper, and making that ease of shopping experience.
Yeah, and to kind of add to what Lauren was saying, I think like brands in general have to up their game. I mean, it's so much harder to be a marketer now than it's ever been. You know, consumers are extremely discerning. You know, they're not buying for buying's sake. So I think there is this element of really breaking into that consideration phase and what gets someone to buy, and innovating in that bucket when someone knows about you and how you get them to that next stage. I think that's going to be really fascinating, and I think definitely seeing the comeback of in-person experiences, you know, giving opportunities, at least in our case, it's, you know, it's a product that you want to touch and feel, and no amount of online can somehow recreate that. So creating these really bespoke, curated experiences for consumers, I think is just going to be a game changer. I mean, certainly in the case of our collab with Gucci, we were dealing with a very specific type of consumer, but the fact that we had rings in their stores in this beautiful casing, it just created this experience for people that made the product so much more desired and changed the value perception instantly. So I think that was really cool to see, and something that think will come back a lot, both in the luxury space and outside as well.
Yeah, and just to add, I think increasing the accessibility in the shopping experience across platforms, I think that's going to be key and something that we're going to continue to see. And then in healthcare specifically, it's not always the patient or consumer who's paying. A lot of times it could be the employer, it could be the health plan. The unifying theme there is creating a compelling consumer experience that people love and want to use.
Perfect. All righty. Yeah, sure. Oh, that was.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Yeah.
Hey, Michael Chellinger from Hauser. Question about social commerce or live shopping. So obviously Amazon, as you said, has been really, really deep diving into that. I think they want a piece of what they perceive to be a future US modeling China. What tips, because I've talked to a few people at various conferences who have tried, dipped their toe in the water and not seen success with it. What do you think differentiated what you did that drove that success?
Yeah, I think definitely it's the key partners you choose and select. There's so many influencers out there. And what do they bring that's unique to the table that really not only fits your brand, but then how are they then crafting that message back to the customer? A lot of it had been, telling them these key opportunities within our headphones that we provided, or even our portable speakers, what unique capabilities that do they offer, and having them take that and put it in their own words rather than just kind of providing them a script. I think that's the biggest key piece with influencers, is just offering them, the key talking points, but then for them to actually use the product themselves, experience it, and then really relay that messaging to the customer.
So am I right in guessing, because this was the other question I wanted to ask anyway, that so if I'm reading you right, the secret sauce is you already had a really strong influencer program, and you really understood who your influencers were, who their audiences were, and how that overlapped with your consumers. So to succeed in live shopping, you actually need to have succeeded first in influencer.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because the people I've talked to went in and they were just like, oh, well, we kind of just winged it, and it didn't work.
Yes, yeah, I definitely see that. And like I've said, I've been really passionate about this space, and I've seen it where, brands just kind of throw money at influencers because they have a lot of following. So, and there isn't really that true connection there, and customers can see that. And so I think that's why you want to really build that relationship first with those key individuals, and really own that overall, and that will really transpire out there once they put the content together.
We have another question. And maybe it's the same as mine of like, is it ŌURA rings for all? Hold on a second.
That'd be great.
When you say in-person experience, is this about to be an Oprah moment? You get a ring, and you get a ring. Come on now.
I wish.
Oh,
Shit.
no, we wish, actually.
Friends and
We
family
wish.
discounts here.
Any final thoughts that you all have and want to share with the group? Aside from clarifying, no, we really don't get the rings. Fine, I get it. Yeah, go ahead.
For ŌURA, are you guys doing any other designers outside of Gucci? Because Gucci is a fabulous brand, but it's not maybe one that I would personally choose. But I would rather have something that maybe speaks more to who I am versus that brand.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think we're figuring it out in terms of, what types of brands we need to go after and what that means. I think a lot of these partnerships are more focused on awareness and really getting that buzz and our name out there. So I think we've been vetting it less from the lens of which designer and fashion house per se, but more like what's the category we don't have equity in today. In our case, last year it was certainly fashion, and still we're not, you wouldn't think of us as a fashion brand certainly. So I think it's more from a category standpoint, less like an individual designer standpoint. But I think as we flesh out our strategy over the next few years and figure out what types of collabs we'd want to invest in, I think that'll become an increasingly important question, that who's in and who's out, right? Because that filtering mechanism, I think, will be very, very important. Yeah. 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 hopefully the supply chain situation gets better. that needs to be the caveat.
Awesome. Any other final thoughts you want to leave the group with?
Say if you want your own personalized speaker and headphones, visit Jamie at his Soho store, JBL. So he's going to talk more a little bit later if you want to shop some speakers and headphones. Thanks.
Awesome. But he's not bringing them for the group again, right? Like we just
He can
continue
hook you up.
Right? I
He
mean, the
can hook you
content's
up.
great, but we're really striking out with the swag
There's a
giveaways.
lot.
That's fine. No, I'm kidding. Okay, big round of applause for this group. Thank you all so very much. Way to go, you